One thing I found in my industry as a young person, again, I came into this at 14 years old. I realized after being in this industry for a few years, there was a cookie cutter way of doing things. Don't get me wrong. Not everyone is in the wedding market and do weddings, but ever since social media has exploded, I've actually seen that through my generation and growing older into an adult. Like, people can kind of now see what happens. It's no longer a surprise. We, pull out our phones and every day there's a new wedding posted and we see, ceremonies, we see vow exchanges, we see, vow dances and, cakes that are 10 tiers high. You have to really work extra hard now because it's in everyone's face to kind of have the accessibility with what happens at a wedding. I've had many people tell me I've never been to a wedding before. And I'm like, I've been to thousands of them. But, again, having this new age we live in with social media, you can't come with the same tricks we've been doing in 1999, 2005, 2008. So you really have to sit down and think about what makes you creative. What part of your brain is operating differently than your co-laborers in the field of this industry. Like, how can you set yourself apart to think outside the box so that your brand is offering a different result? Even into my planners, I call it checklist planning. Anybody, even brides these days, they feel like their planners can say, okay, I need a DJ, I need a venue, I need a caterer, I need some chairs. I need to, pick up some invitations. I can just pick out a dress. Anyone can take a checklist and plan a wedding, technically. So what is it about you as a planner that a bride needs to spend anywhere from $4,000 to $15,000 as a consultant fee to come in and plan their wedding? There has to be some extra layers of proving yourself. You have to prove yourself of why are you worth what you're worth. And I believe ultimately in the luxury market, that comes with creativity. If you can do a site visit without going virtually, then you're not thinking creative enough. If you can do a site visit without having a ruler, you're not thinking creative enough. If you can do a tasting and not have a color palette to give to a chef to make that plate correlate with the wedding colors or the event colors or that celebration, you're not thinking creative enough. If your timeline can be developed in the first 3 months of planning, you're definitely not thinking hard enough. If your client's attire can be ordered online and at their house in 5 days, you're not thinking creative enough. I'm giving you these examples not to insult you, but to just really have this one-on-one with you with how finding these personalized vendors and taking the process of something as simple as a cake and not just picking out flavors in a picture and checking it off the list. You have to jump into the anatomy of it. For example, I'm going to break down shopping for a wedding cake. Yes, the groom likes chocolate. The bride likes vanilla. So we know those are going to be flavors that we want to taste. Okay, got it. Maybe the bride's gown has certain details of lace or pearls or bling or allocates that we want to pull into the cake. Okay, those are inspirations for the cake. Now we're talking luxury cake. I don't know about you, but I like my cakes big. And I'm not talking about big, I'm talking about big. So we want height. That's a conversation to have with the baker. You want to take that vendor out of their cookie cutter mind. Oh, I do cakes every weekend. There are 5, 7 tiers. Okay, yes, but I need your undivided attention, ma'am. This is a cake that I need you to sweat extra hard. My client has the extra money to pay whatever to get us what we need, but take us seriously now because we're not looking for a cookie cutter results. You see how I kind of leaned in? And I kind of had that conversation with a vendor to get them off of that day-to-day mentality of, oops, this is just another order. This is just another Zoom call. This is just another walk-in. No, I want my reputation to exceed me. When people see develop events in their email box, when people see Demetris is coming to meet with us to discuss a client, I need them to pull out the works. I want a whiteboard. I need my sketching pen and pad. I don't want to look at their portfolio. We can be inspired by Pinterest, but we want to start from scratch to build an amazing moment. And we're not going to stop at the cake. What's the furniture for the cake? What is it sitting on? Well, how tall is that furniture? Well, how tall would that make my cake once it's on that table? What are the cake utensils? What are they cutting it with? What dress is the bride wearing when she's standing beside that cake? Is it going to contrast too much with the design of the cake? What type of lighting is in the room? Will the cake be lit? Will it have its own spotlight? Will we be able to pin light it where we're positioning it? Is it going in the middle of the room? Is it going against the wall? I'm sure some of you sitting here now, at all the stuff I'm throwing at you, are thinking like, wow, he's very detailed. This is the difference between event production and just checklist planning. This is what you have to grow to earn that luxury client, to earn that knowledge of asking all those things. One thing about myself is I'm a visionary. And I'm hoping you are a visionary as well, hence that you signed up for this class. Being a visionary, you have to see things before they are actually reality. And so that's how I am when I'm in my meetings. I see my cake. I see my couple standing there. I know the masculine trait of this image. I know the feminine trait of this image. I see the cake there. I see the height of the cake. I see what florals I'm using. I'm putting all these elements together so that by the time we get those detail shots from our photographer, our videographer, and the certain angles that he's shooting it in, I'm already planning my Instagram posts. I'm already planning my Facebook posts. I already know what type of image I'm creating based upon the storyboard of all the elements that I put into this particular moment of the cake cutting. And when I get it back, I'm going to hit the head on a nail for a viral reaction because I was intentional about all those steps leading up to just something as simple as pick out the wedding cake. So as I walk through those different scenarios, the fashion around it, the taste around it, the look of it, what it's sitting on, the lighting of it, where's the positioning of it, where it's going, how is it being received by my guests? And then for you planners who may not be the designer, you're just more so the organizational part of it, the timeline portion of it. Do I want to put the cake cutting after the toast traditionally, or do I want to make them cut the cake when they first walk in? Or do I want to save the cake for a separate room where we go dance at the end of the night in an after party? Change the whole trajectory of the traditional things. Throw out the tradition, do something out of the box. Every time I go left, it gives me a different viral response. Let me say that again. For those of you who are looking for more likes, shares, more interest and engagement in your social media, step outside the box. Even if it feels a little weird or it hasn't been done before, if you find the client who trusts you, who allow you to do your thing and is looking for something unique, change it up. Change it up. Redefine what you're known for. One thing I love about One thing I love about people who have attended my weddings and events in the past, whenever they see me at an event and they're like, hey, I can't wait to experience, your design today. I can't wait to see what's new or what's next. We always have people waiting. And even though we're selling a personal service, even though you're selling a personal service, people have to get to a point where they're buying the experience. The experience is for the guests, but it's also still a personal service for the honoree or for that couple or for that particular organization. So keep that in mind. No cookie cutter experiences. Throw out the tradition. Let's step outside the box and make whatever product, whatever service that you sell creative, unique, fresh, and out of the box.